Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Ethereum price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis, starting of course on the all-time history here. We're looking at an impulse toward the upside 1 2 3 4 5, finished wave A potentially, and of course we are in the highest potential scenario in a triangle ABCDE, and that is due of course of the time of this corrective waves. It is of course already a characteristic of a triangle, and potentially we're having a corrective wave here after three waves correction as well, three waves down, meaning it can be a WX and a Y. However, this is a totally different scenario that it might unfold rather than a wave C. It can be of course a double 1-2 here, which of course open is this next scenario that we have rather than this triangle. Meaning you have a double 1-2 here where you have finished impulse 1 2 3 4 5 for a wave 1. You finished wave 2, you're looking at another impulse to the upside, W, X, and a Y. Finishing between, of course, the 1-to-1 fib level and the 1.23 and 1.38. And that because as well it is here an expanding flat. Since you took the high already here, you're looking at three ways down, three ways up, potentially something to finish this expanding flat. However, the structure inside it doesn't, of course, reflect an impulse. It reflects three-wave corrective even, meaning higher potential here that it is still a bigger correction, giving higher possibility as well for the triangle here unfolding, of course, W, X, and a Y. And you're looking for a wave D and an E, and then moving toward the upside in a wave C. Why wave C? Because, of course, a 1-2 here is not a wave 2 is not allowed to be a triangle. Only a wave B or a WXY, or only you can find inside the WXY a triangle or a wave 4 of an impulse. A wave 2 is not allowed based on the rule of Elliott wave to be a wave 2, meaning of course a higher possibility here is going for a wave C. Your target for the wave C is the 1-to-1 fib level, potentially can hit the 1.618, starting from the 6,470 almost. The final scenario is a very typical scenario for Elliott wave, where we see, of course, five ways up for an impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, finishing wave 1, A, B, C, a regular flat. Now, in this regular flat, it looks like a nice regular flat. However, in regarding of Ethereum, your regular flat target 1-to-1 fib level is 741 on the logarithmic chart. On the linear chart is even lower than this, which is not reflecting Ethereum characteristic here, since we have reached the 5,000. Reaching lower than the 600 is a little bit like unrealistic for Ethereum, and if that happens, therefore of course there is something not good going on in Ethereum. Yeah. However, even if we reach this target, we're still looking for higher. However, I still find this target very, very low. I'm not a moon boy, or that I'm a guy who seeking, of course, to reflect more bullish scenarios. I don't care if it moves down or up, but I don't see Ethereum itself as psychologically moving toward the downside in this area, especially after a long time correction. When you move very, very long in a time, of course, for a correction, this reduces the possibility to move, of course, for lower prices. It even prevents to take the low starting from the point that this long time has started, and it prevents to take its low, meaning it might turn, of course, into something as a triangle and then moving toward the upside. This is the psychology reflected with the patterns of Elliott wave. If we then move inside it, of course, inside this area, let's move to the 2 hours chart here to see what we might have today, of course, for this area. We can see in this area, we're looking at a potential finished ABC here in a triangle or a WXY in between. So we have an A, B, and a C potentially. It can be as well like three waves down, three waves up for the B. You have a very fast impulse towards the downside. It doesn't matter if you take your A here or if you take your B here. It is all corrective at the end. However, I see it, of course, in that way much more nicer, and of course having a three ways down, correction, and an impulse toward the downside. Correction again for X, and then you're looking for another three waves toward the downside. as a zigzag would reflect perfectly, of course, this pattern here that we have, of course, when you compare it and you see a match between the scale at least and the form almost for a zigzag or for a flat. Looking for this area at 1-to-1 fib level 1300, still reasonable price, of course, for Ethereum in a bearish market, and to move toward the upside from there is a very high potential. You have, of course, 3 waves down as well here, meaning you are still corrective WXY wave B. You're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, hitting the 1-to-1 fib level at 1300. Currently, you have finished an impulse here. If we dive deeper inside it as well, we can see that this impulse has started to unfold. Obviously, your wave 3 is over there. You have finished potentially even double 1-2s here, and then 3, 4, 5, 4, 5 for your wave 1. You have, of course, a potential finished wave 5 here short, and you're looking for something corrective starting to unfold in this area. Don't forget as well a scenario, of course, of an ending diagonal where you might still see, of course, one more leg for a wave 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 4, and a 5. If you want to label this, we can do that as well to make it much more clear for you guys. So 1, 2, and then 1, 2. So we have the smallest 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. You finished your main impulse wave 3 here. For this impulse toward the downside, you have another 1, 2, and you're looking at the wave 3, which is the main wave 3, and you're looking at your main wave 5 here, of course, which it might end up as well as an ending diagonal. So let's put the signal as at a potential ending diagonal here. Here we go. You have a 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, a 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, meaning the ending diagonal starts from there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. We're gonna see how this is gonna unfold. Of course, expect after this you have finished your wave 1, you're looking for wave 2, 3, 4, 5 toward the downside. Of course, to finish this bearish scenario for a wave C on the targets required, of course, here for this wave. You would like to see, of course, your wave 2 hitting at least the 0.38 taken from where the wave 5 is gonna bottom, of course. The 0.38 is the most common minimum requirement for wave 2, and especially in a very bearish market, you might of course hit it and then moving directly for a wave 3, 4, and a 5 to hit the 1300 as explained in the daily. If we take a closer look on the KGT, 5-minute chart, we can see, of course, the invalidation of all the bullish signals here. You see, of course, high signals and failing, of course, to move toward the upside. Again, after, of course, we got an invalidation with the price for the signal, you cannot take it here as a divergence, meaning if we move toward the upside, of course, because we have the signal at the end, but it is not divergence with the price, meaning that it's gonna move towards the upside, but it will fail again to take the high, meaning you're still looking for lower soon or later. In this case scenario, we have to take a bigger or larger look at the 15-minute chart that it might give us even a better insight here. Well, here we go. So we have a lot of pressure coming from the top. As you can see, convergence of the bearish signal, convergence as well with the price action, invalidation of bullish, meaning, yeah, a lot of bearish scenarios are coming, of course, soon or later as well, meaning a massive wave 3 as expected, of course, in our analysis might unfold here, of course, after having wave 2, 3, 4, and a 5. You already have the signal of the bullish for a wave 2 on KGT and 3, 4, and a 5 to unfold. Don't forget to follow us on X as well. Of course, I'm updating as well on X today. We have SUI, and of course, I'm planning for many other crypto to be uploaded today. So make sure to follow and stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.